Hi guys, so we are in a lockdown and we are figuring out how to pass our time maybe productively, when one of the best ways to do it is to start reading. Read books, not just my books, but any good books. I mean, there's so many good books, so I'm not giving my favorites or anything, but these were just 5 books I've read or I'm in the process of reading and I've enjoyed, so I thought maybe you guys will enjoy it too. All kinds of various genres. So the first one is Freakonomics. This book came up a couple of years ago by Stephen Levitt and Stephen Dubner. It is an economics book, but it's really fun. How can economics be fun? Well, you have to read it to find out. You'll find out how various things in world, why some businesses are the way they are, right from drug dealers to all kind of things. So really, I really enjoyed this book, and especially if you have an interest in economics or something, or just the world in general, pick it up. The second book is Home Diva. This is actually a lady who I know also. This is a book, a very unusual book. It's a book on how to run a good home. I know it's not something I do that much, but still in current times of lockdown, if you read this book, maybe you'll get ideas on how to be at home and how to make your home really efficient and clean and functional. I know it's very normal things on how to organize your life, but it's really fun read also. Third book is one of the recent books by Mark Manson, who's a blogger, and it became a #1 bestseller, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F-CK, which I guess you know what it means. But it basically is a very nice book which tells you about care for things that matter to you. Some things don't matter in life, so why care about them so much and waste your time? And it actually became a #1 bestseller, so you can maybe read and find out why, and it will help you. Another one in my hand is from Jawaharlal Nehru, India's first Prime Minister. It is Letters from a Father to the Daughter. As you know, Jawaharlal Nehru was our first Prime Minister, but before that he was a freedom fighter and he was in jail. And when he was in jail, he would write letters to his daughter about various things, not just about the freedom struggle, but also about science and things like natural phenomena. It's very sweet. It was in an era where there was no internet, no phone even, or anything from jail. So he would just write handwritten letters and give a lot of knowledge and love to his daughter, who also became India's Prime Minister, Indira Gandhi. So it's kind of like a classic, Jawaharlal Nehru's Letters from a Father to the Daughter. Another book for those working, a book called Emotional Intelligence. This book, when it came out, Daniel Goleman's book, EQ, the word EQ became so big. Just like IQ, intelligence quotient, people start talking about EQ, which is emotional quotient. It tells you why EQ is important in life, what is it all about, and how you can have more EQ. So if you read it, it will benefit you as well. These are some of my books, but really guys, just pick up whatever is around you, whatever interests you, read more and make this lockdown more fun and productive.
Hi everyone, my name is SAMRA ZAFAR and I'm the author of A Good Wife, Escaping the Life I Never Chose. This book is about my journey of being forced into a child marriage at the age of 16, escaping a decade of domestic abuse and pursuing my education to build a new life of freedom, dignity, and respect for myself and my 2 daughters. All of us around the world are currently going through some unprecedented adversity as a human race. There is fear, uncertainty, and ambiguity, which is causing a lot of anxiety for all of us. It doesn't make us weak, it makes us human. There are some simple things we can all do to build our confidence and resilience and stay positive during these times. Number 1, be kind to yourself. Fear, anxiety, and loneliness are all normal feelings. There was a time not too long ago when my kids and I were alone, lost, and on the verge of homelessness. Along this journey, I've learned that confidence and courage is not the absence of self-doubt and fear. It's about feeling afraid and lost and continuing to get back up and move forward with the faith that this too shall pass and we will be fine. Look for the silver linings and practice gratitude for the things we often take for granted, like waking up in the morning, having food on the table, feeling the breeze in our hair, and seeing the smile on our child's face. Number 2, no matter how tough things get, never give up on your dreams. If you don't believe in your dreams, who will? Even during the darkest days of my life, when I had no hope of ever being able to go to school, I'd stand in front of a mirror and practice my university graduation speech. 10 years later, that dream came true. So keep going and be your own biggest champion and cheerleader. Surround yourself with people who champion you to achieve anything you want, and block out the ones who pull you down. Make your own personal cheerleading squad. There is no service to anyone in letting others diminish your fire. Number 3, continue to pay it forward. The smallest actions on our part can have a life-changing impact on others. I wouldn't be here today if so many people hadn't helped me in my time of need. By giving back, we get so much more in return. When I was in university, I volunteered at the Student Disability Center, and I was assigned to help a student who was 65, in a wheelchair, blind, almost deaf, and completing her degree with distinction. Her determination inspired me like nothing else. There are people around us right now, in our families, communities, and workplaces who need our help. The elderly, the disabled, those with elevated health risks, the homeless, people who have lost their jobs, business owners who are struggling to keep afloat, women who are being abused at home and now have nowhere to go. Reach out and offer connection. A phone call, a video chat, dropping off some food. Even if we can't solve the problems, we can do something to help each other feel less alone and less isolated. We're all in this together, and we will get through this together. Stay strong, stay safe, choose hope, and spread love.
Hi everyone, I hope you are sitting at home, keeping yourself safe, keeping yourself healthy. Given the fact that you have lots and lots of time to kill at this moment of time, I really thought that I would share with you a few recommendations related to books that I have either recently read or books that I feel are worth reading. One of the books that I'm currently reading is a book called Panipat by Vishwas Patil. This is a book that has sold several lakh copies in Indian languages, but the English translation is fairly recent. What I really love about this book is the fact that the author has been able to weave a lot of historical detail, but into a very, very compelling story. So do try it. I've not yet completed the book, but I can tell you this is my experience while I'm reading it. Three relatively recent books that I have read. One, The Anarchy by William Dalrymple. Please don't miss out on this book. It is history made so compelling. I don't know for the life of me why we forget that the word history contains the word story. And this is what William Dalrymple does so beautifully. Talks about the neutering of the Mughal Empire as a result of the rise of the East India Company and the strategy that was involved in controlling a vast empire like India through the control of a handful of traders. Another book which I strongly recommend is Sapiens, which is Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. This is again an awesome book that tells you why the human race is so brilliant but so foolish. And given the fact that we are sitting in our homes today and are having to deal with this entire COVID crisis, I think this is genuinely a book worth reading. If you are into thrillers, then a book that I would strongly recommend is Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. It's a truly layered crime thriller that kept me hooked. I wouldn't say as good as Gone Girl, but almost as good. Truly riveting. And finally, I would say that in case you are looking for all-time favorite reads, then probably Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahans Yoganand. It's a book that you eventually have to read. A book called Freedom at Midnight by Dominique Lapierre. And of course, the book that eventually brought me into the world of writing, it was a book called Jesus Lived in India by Holger Kirsten. So these are a few of my recommendations. In case you haven't read one or more of them, then probably this is the time to get your hands on one of these books, either on a Kindle or alternatively from your neighbor, because I know for a fact that a lot of books right now are unavailable because of the physical warehousing having got affected. So stay at home, stay safe, and happy reading.
Hey guys, congratulations, you've made it to the weekend. So weekend means that we must do something special. So I thought I'd whip up something that's really easy, doesn't need any major baking skills. So we're gonna make peanut butter and chocolate chip, if you can see that. Chocolate chip brownies. This is a very simple one bowl recipe. I'm just going to dive right into it. So here I've got 1 cup of peanut butter, and a really good thing to do is to just spray a little bit of oil or just kind of rub a little bit of oil on the inside of the cup so that the peanut butter pours out really easily after you've measured it. Half a cup of sugar that I've just blended up and powdered in the mixer like this. I'm using raw sugar, but honestly use any sugar that you've got at home. Now, believe it or not, I have run out of vanilla extract at home. And but I'm not one to give up. So I'm just gonna add like a little bit of cinnamon powder, just a pinch, just add that in, and a tiny amount of salt. It's like a pinch of salt, not too much because my peanut butter is already salty, so I don't want to add too much salt. About half a teaspoon of baking soda. Mix. See, now you'll see why I used powdered sugar, because that just helps mix things up really well. Okay, now what's going to make this much easier is when I add an egg to it. So 1 egg cracked straight into it. Okay, so now with the egg, just whisk that in. Okay, so I just want to show you that I've used chunky peanut butter and not the smooth one. You can absolutely use the smooth one. I just like chunky peanut butter, so that's what I've used. Now, when does this turn into chocolate chip brownies? That's the last step. You don't need to whisk that in, you just need to fold that in. Amazing, just amazing. So I just take a spatula and just fold that in. The thing with chunky peanut butter is that it kind of takes care of the need for nuts in the brownie. But if you're going to use smooth peanut butter, this will be just as. Okay, so I have now put the whole dough into this 7 by 7 inch square baking pan, which I've lined with parchment paper. It's just always best to use parchment paper because that way I can pull this out really easily when the brownies are done, and also they won't stick to the sides. So, and also saves you that trouble of like greasing the pan and all of that stuff. So amazing. So that's done. My oven's preheating to 175 degrees Celsius, and these will bake for anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes. Anybody who thought this recipe was crazy and would never work?
Hi guys, my name is Meghna Pant, the author of 1.5 Wife, Happy Birthday, How to Get Published in India, and Feminist Rani. I hope that you are safe and staying home in this time of quarantine. I think one of the best ways to stay out of trouble right now is to catch up on your reading list. So I'm here to give you a bunch of books that you can read. And I've always advocated that we should, as readers, not read the best-selling books, but the best books. So here's my short list. I highly recommend K.R. Mira's Hangwoman. It's a very thick book. It's about a young girl who wants to become the first female executioner in India, and the way she fights patriarchy and smashes the glass ceiling to do so. Now, if you're looking for a shorter read, I'd highly recommend Kachar Ghochar by Vivek Shanbag. It's a very thin volume. It's around 100 pages. I read it on a short flight that I was in last year. And it's about a middle-class family and what happens to people once they have access to money. And it's very simply written and with a beautiful ending, a searing ending that you'll really enjoy. If you're looking for a short story collection, then I'll highly recommend The Adivasi Will Not Dance. It's a deeply urgent, a deeply political book from the hinterlands of Jharkhand. It created quite a stir, and created a lot of controversy. But it's a beautifully written and very urgent book that I think everyone in our times must read. I'd also recommend One Part Woman by Tamil writer Perumal Murugan. He has, of course, written a lot of brilliant books, but this is one of my favorites. It's about a childless couple and whether or not their deep love, and actually very sweet love, will survive societal stigma. And again, this book also created quite a lot of controversy, but you'll find it's very simply written and has a very unexpected ending. So do try and grab that book. And last on my list is Benjamin's Jasmine Days. It's won multiple awards. You can download it on the Juggernaut app, where right now, by the way, there are a lot of books for free. It's again about political upheaval in an unnamed Middle Eastern country, as seen through the eyes of a young girl, a young RJ. I've always believed that India should not read just the best-selling books, but also the best books. So these are books that bring you voices from the periphery, the marginalized voices, the female voices, that I think each and every citizen of our country must have access to. So please stay calm, keep calm, keep reading, spread the love and not the virus, and good luck to all of you.
Hi, I'm ANMOL, MALIK, and in these tough times I find myself reading more than ever before, because books have the ability to take you on an adventure, and in that vein, here are my recommendations. The very first book I'd recommend is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. It's my all-time favorite book. It's about a man who wakes up and finds that the Earth has exploded and he's the last human left in the whole universe. It's a totally mad book, it's very funny, it's a whole series, and now would be the best time to dive into it. The second book I'd recommend is the one that I'm currently rereading. It's Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi. It's very informative, dramatic, humorous, and it's about the author's memories of her childhood in Iran. But the illustrations are absolutely gorgeous, and if you're into graphic novels, this one's highly recommended. The third book I'd recommend is The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. One could argue that it's a children's book, but the whole concept of a young girl finding a hidden world at the back of her closet and the layers to the writing are absolutely beautiful. Then I'd recommend absolutely anything by Neil Gaiman, whether it's American Gods or The Graveyard Book or Good Omens or Coraline. There's a certain magic to his writing that makes him one of my favorite authors. So if you pick up anything with his name on it, you can't go wrong. And then finally, there's my comfort read, which is Harry Potter. I cannot tell you how many times I've reread this whole series. I know it probably by heart. And sadly, that's not a life skill, even though I wish it was. And then, of course, as always, Archie comics and Tintin. And there's so many great books out there. There's so many great authors and stories. So go ahead, open a book. It's like opening a door to a whole new world. Happy reading and stay safe.
First of all, a big shout out to everyone for doing such a good job of getting used to a new normal in these times. Being an active marathoner, triathlete, I'm continuing my regime. But one advice I always have and I've been giving to my colleagues is that only do 60% of your intensity. The tendency of now being indoors and having so much time, you feel like, okay, I'm going to become the next big marathoner or the next big Mr. Universe or Miss Universe. And this is not the time, right? So you have to just do enough workout to stay healthy, which is about less than 60% of your intensity or capability. This is because if you go any more intense than that, your immunity is going to go down in the next 24 to 48 hours, which essentially means you are now prone to catching a flu or something serious, right? So please just focus on doing, whether it's yoga, your indoor workout, but no more than 60% of your intensity. There is no better time now than ever to actually talk to customers and really, get a really honest, transparent dialogue going on what's working, what's not working, and so on. One thing I'm doing is I set up a schedule the night before for the next day on what would be family time and what would be work time. It just puts some structure and method to the madness. Secondly, I have set up a separate corner in my home to work so I can, both mentally and for the family, for them to know that this is my work corner, so I can remain focused, disciplined, and also minimize the disturbance. Now, we all know it's not going to be 100%, but at least it helps us move in that direction. And lastly, working from home is difficult. You actually end up working a lot more hours. So please do give yourself a pat on the back at the end of the day. Congratulate yourself at the end of the day. It's not easy, and this is the new normal. And you are really doing a wonderful job by trying to accomplish as much as you can, balancing family, balancing work, balancing all the information overload. So give yourself a pat on the back and stay strong, stay indoors, stay safe.
Hi everyone, my name is REHANA MUNIR and I thought I'd share my quarantine companion list with you. Books that I found to be great fun over the years and something that would keep us company at this time. To begin with poetry, because these are very prosaic times. So we have Vikram Seth's Golden Gate. If you haven't read it, I feel now is the time to do it. It's not pretentious, it's not scary. Yes, it's written in verse, it's the sonnet form, but just very cheering and uplifting at a time like this. I feel. Then there's Zadie Smith, the English author. It's a transatlantic romp of a comic novel, so give it a try. It's a loose adaptation of Howard's End by E.M. Forster, but she just does it her own way, and it's great fun. Then for a bit of where we are right now, the title has germs in it, and steel and guns too. It's a sort of a broad look at human history and how it's evolved, leaving certain countries and continents at the bottom of the pile and certain others on top, and I think it gives us a good perspective for our time in particular. Also, he's the guru of Yuval Noah Harari, the Sapiens writer, so if you're fans of that book, then this is where it all came from in a way. Donna Tartt, she mixes genres like very few people with such ease and such skill. You know, makes literature fun, and this is all about a literary society where these young students land themselves in all kinds of messes. Again, a long book, a fun book to read at a time like this. I'll end with a very unusual book by Dodie Smith. It's called I Capture the Castle, and even though she's known for 101 Dalmatians, I find this is the book that she should really be getting all the accolades for. It's about this young girl who's stuck in this crumbling castle with a father who's not able to get this novel out, and all sorts of plots and subplots that emerge from this premise. Do give it a try. I think it will lift spirits, and I'll take this chance to very slyly plug my own book, Paper Moon. It's been published by HarperCollins. If you don't have the hard copy, then it's on Kindle, and I hope you enjoy it. Bye.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.